How are we doing tonight, guys? Welcome to the August 29th Raw review, or should I say Raw Supershow review, but I'll get to that in a minute. Before I get started, I do have to say point blank, before I get into specifics, this is the greatest, and for me, one of the most exciting Raws we've had this year. Not because of any big changes, not because of this or that or whatever, but just the in-ring work tonight, in general, except for the Divas, which is a given. But other than that, the in-ring work tonight as a whole was phenomenal. That being said, let's get into it. We open up the show with Triple H, the COO, announcing that from now on into the distant foreseeable future, we are going to have Raw Super Show, and I guess that ties in with Super SmackDown tomorrow night. The idea being that on both shows, both rosters will be participating. SmackDown guys will be on Raw guys will be on SmackDown, etc., etc., etc. And he says for now until the foreseeable future. So I guess until they find a reason to separate them out again, something like bragging rights or something like that. Either way, makes me a happy guy. If anybody saw my ways to revamp the WWE video that I posted last night, I think it was the second or third point on that, was recombine the roster. And if you want to know why and some of my other thoughts on that, go to the immediate previous video to this one and check that out if you haven't done it already. Anyways, Triple H continues to deny that he had anything to do with Nash attacking Punk at SummerSlam, calls Nash a liar, says he can't trust him, says he's not being a good friend, and calls out Nash. But instead he gets Punk, who comes out, calls Triple H an actor, makes fun of his acting career, calls him a liar, makes fun of Stephanie some more, which is always good times. And eventually, Kevin Nash did come out. What made me mark out hard is, once again, Kevin Nash is coming out to the old NWO music. I love it. No matter what Kevin Nash does from here on in, he's always going to be associated with the NWO. When he had music in TNA, when he teamed back up with Nash for like 5 minutes, they had what was a really bad remake of the Wolfpack theme. Now he's back in WWE, and even though he's just Kevin Nash and just doing his thing on his own, he has the old NWO music. Again, makes me happy, pays tribute to the past, etc., etc., etc. Now, basically comes out, tells Triple H, yes, I lied, I had unfinished business, you wouldn't let me take care of it, so I had to take care of you. Punk, he says, Punk's insulting me, he's insulting you, he's insulting your wife, what kind of man are you, da-da-da-da-da. Triple H tells Nash he has to leave again. Nash says, no, I don't. After you left last week, Laurinaitis gave me a contract. Oh, yes! So he says, you gotta give Punk what he thinks he wants. Give me the match. Punk says, you gotta give Nash what he thinks he wants. Give us the match. Triple H stares down both of them, both his perceived enemy as CM Punk and his supposed friend in Kevin Nash, tells them both that he has 2 words for them, and the crowd figures out the rest. Before we go to break, Orton comes out, and as the announcers say, we're wasting no time in showcasing the SmackDown talent on Raw. Come back to have Randy Orton, the World Heavyweight Champion, going up against Ziggler, the United States Champion. And wow, I said a while ago, the sign of a great match is where I don't have a lot of notes because I'm too busy watching the match, I'm too engrossed in the match, and that's definitely what we have here. Ziggler looked great this whole match, which is equally a shot in the arm for him and a shot in the arm for Orton for making him look good, which somebody else wouldn't do. Cena. Some great specific moments in the match. Orton's move he's done once or twice before. It's a gut wrench into a backbreaker / neck breaker, all in one fluid motion, and he snaps it off with some viciousness, which is quite nice. Dolph Ziggler with what I can only refer to as Zig Chin music. A ridiculous, Shawn Michaels-esque superkick out of nowhere. The final combination leading towards the end of the match was an RKO attempt, countered into a sleeper, countered into a press slam, and a successful RKO for the win for Randy Orton. Not gonna lie, I lost track of the time watching this match. Orton, not that Ziggler doesn't look good on his own, Orton went out of his way to make Ziggler look like $1 million in here and did not lose any steam himself. There's some steam, there's some There's some heat. There's some good talent in there. If you can give it all to make somebody else look good and not lose any face yourself, Cena should take notes. Just saying. Alright, speaking of Cena, he comes back after the break, basically cuts a promo trying to have balls, doesn't really realize that he's been the Prince of PG forever now, and nobody's going to take him seriously if he tries to be a badass, and it doesn't work. He calls out Alberto Del Rio. Instead, gets Mark Henry, who goes into a redonkulously horrible promo about, look at all I've done, look at how tough I am, look at all the people I've beat, look at all the people that I've put in my hall of pain. Painful. And then Christian comes out, basically says he's going to beat Orton tomorrow night. Looks at Cena and says, nobody drives me more crazy than somebody comes out bitching week by week by week. And then says to Mark Henry, look, there's two of us and one of him. Why don't we just take him out right now? Which, of course, brings out Sheamus to save John Cena. And everybody is like, what the fuck? Anybody who's been watching wrestling over the past, year or so knows the history between Sheamus and Cena. So that's just kind of funny. And in typical heel fashion, once the sides are 2-on-2, the heels slink out. I'm not getting a phone call right now because I'm kind of busy. Anyways, next, for no particular reason at all, we get what would be one of my dream matches. And, Kid of Wrestling, if you're seeing this, I know you loved this match too because you're as big a fan of The Miz as I am. We had Punk versus The Miz. Oh, this was a showcase of the striking ability of CM Punk, wasn't it? And again, like the Orton thing, Punk is the main guy. Miz is sort of the guy that's lost in the shadows. Punk made Miz look tremendous in this match, as if Miz didn't look tremendous enough on his own right and did not lose any face himself. These are the guys that we need to have, not only to get out there and look good, but to get out there and help the other guys look good as well. Miz hit that low from the knees DDT that he does that's friggin' brilliant. This match, Miz's character for the past few weeks has been saying, hey, I was the main event at WrestleMania, and now I'm nothing. And a lot of the Miz's fans, and a lot of wrestling fans in general that have any common sense whatsoever, have got to be saying the same thing. Miz showed what he could do at WrestleMania under the bright lights of the biggest pay-per-view of the year, and then they sort of pushed him off to the wayside in the attempts to bring other things to the forefront. This match here was a reminder of everything that The Miz can do. Put aside his bravado, put aside the fact that he can also cut a decent-ass promo, put aside the fact that he's a tremendous, arrogant, pompous, cocky heel to an art form. Get him actually in the ring and he can pull off some stupendous shit. At the end, R-Truth comes in because they've got their R-Truth Miz sort of conspiracy team thing happening. Match ends in a DQ with the win going to Punk. Punk takes out Miz. Punk takes out R-Truth. Punk is then jumped and powerbombed by Nash. Supposing that that's going to build up more heat for their match at Night of Champions, I guess. Then we have Sin Cara versus Swagger, and I'm thinking, oh, the show's going to go downhill. The match was kind of blah. I don't care who's under the mask. The whole Sin Cara was one guy, now he's apparently another guy. I don't follow it because I don't really care. The character is still awesome. The guy that's doing it now has a better finishing sequence than the other guy had, and that's that. Now, there's a certain amount of, okay, we want to see Sin Cara go in there and do his thing, but Swagger's the one that has the storyline building with Ziggler and with Vicky and da-da-da-da-da, so he has to look good. So most of this match was a squash Sin Cara match, which makes me sad. Vicky Guerrero's watching because she's, considering having Jack Swagger in her little stable there. Ziggler comes out pissed off that Vicky's there, distracts Swagger. Sin Cara gets the win. This Sin Cara, whoever he is, whoever he's been replaced with or whatever, has a wicked finishing move because you get the guy down in the center of the ring. He goes outside of the ring, springboard senton from one side, springboard moonsault from the other side, and the pin. Those kinds of moves are great for a cruiserweight because they can be performed on anybody, any downed opponent. The other Sin Cara that had the top rope move, when Kaz in TNA does it, it's called the flux capacitor. I don't know if they ever really gave it a name in WWE, but you could only do that against another cruiserweight. which wouldn't be a problem except WWE doesn't have a cruiserweight division, right? Like I say, again, go back to my revamping the WWE video, see my thoughts on that. Anyways, Sin Cara gets the victory in a match where he was most of the time getting squashed by Swagger, which makes me smile, and except it builds towards this Swagger-Ziggler rivalry that I'm not looking forward to at all. We come back from the break, we replay Bourne and Kofi winning the tag team champions, or the tag team championship from Otunga and McGillicutty. Otunga and McGillicutty are obviously getting their rematch for those titles because WWE doesn't have any other tag teams other than the Usos, who are on SmackDown. The entire match is basically Otunga and McGillicutty looking small, you know, Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston showcasing their high-flying ability, King running down Otunga and McGillicutty on commentary, something fierce, and Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne retaining their titles. It was announced during the match that because Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston allowed the WWE Universe to choose their tag team name, their name is Air Boom. Really? Really. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, so Air Boom go and celebrate their victory, head up the ramp, and Otunga and McGillicutty try to pick a fight with Jerry the King Lawler at the announce table, and then they go to break. Okay. Kelly versus Brie Bella. I take a nap. We move on. We have a promo for the Randy Orton Evolution of a Predator DVD, which actually looks really, really good. I'm not going to lie. I might get it, I might not, but it looks actually worth getting, more so than the, oh my god, 50 greatest moments in wrestling, whatever the hell that is. From there, I don't know what happened in the States, but in Canada I had a lot of technical problems, because we saw a small section of what I'm guessing was an Austin tribute, a small section of what I'm guessing was an Alex Riley highlight reel, and a small section of the promo for the new Triple H movie, all kind of jumbled together. Not quite buying Triple H as an actor yet. I'm just not. I don't really have much else to say to that. Alex Riley getting a highlight reel, I guess, is good, considering he's not having very many matches recently. We need to at least remind ourselves that he can do something if we ever hope to give him a proper push, like, you know, moving Swagger out of the way and giving him a shot at Dolph Ziggler in the U.S. Championship, right? Right. The Austin tribute, the little bit of it that I saw, had some really sad-sounding country music in the background, so has something bad happened to Austin that I missed or didn't get the memo? I really don't know. If somebody knows, you know, toss it down in the box. You guys know the drill. The main event, John Cena and Sheamus versus Mark Henry and Christian. The first half of this match, i.e. the part of this match where John Cena is out on the apron and staying out of the way, was great. Was a great psychological sort of heel character building type thing. Christian out there shouting all kinds of shit at Sheamus and hiding behind Mark Henry and letting Mark Henry do all the work, getting the opportune tag, picking up the scraps from Mark Henry, whatever. That's fine. Had no problem with that up until Sheamus got the tag, and all it was Cena taking super Cena-ing over Christian, knocking down Mark Henry with one punch, you know, destroys Christian unrealistically, no-sells the spear, and wins the match. It was just, like I said, you could cut this match in half. The half of the match that Sheamus was in was awesome. There was good psychology, there was good reasoning, there was good logic in the match. Cena gets in, and it's just another Cena match. And that's it. You know, this big monster in Mark Henry that you've been building up for months and months and months, taking out all the other monsters in the WWE, eliminating Great Khali single-handedly, breaking Big Show's leg, breaking Kane's leg, taking out Vladimir Kozlov, destroying Sheamus twice, and he's taken out by Cena with one punch. Really, this is why I say get rid of the super family. Do it. Everybody else in this match deserved the credit that they earned in this match for making the match. The first half of this match looked really, really good. Like I say, Christian healing it up, something fierce. Mark Henry doing his monster thing that he's doing right now. Sheamus playing the face in peril to a T. brilliantly, and then Cena ruined the match by showing up. That's just how it is. After after that match is over, we cut to the back to Triple H's office. CM Punk comes in and says, "Hey, you know, Laurinaitis told me I should come here because you want to talk to me. Are you going to resign? You know, is your wife going to resign? Are you going to divorce her? Because I wouldn't blame you." Da 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 da. Triple H just very calmly and very rationally locks eyes with him and says, "No, I've changed the match at Night of Champions. You're not facing Nash. You're facing me." I think they jumped the gun on Triple H versus Punk. I think it could have waited for a larger pay-per-view. I think it could have waited for something like Survivor Series. Not to say that I'm not looking forward to the match, because I think these guys will steal the show for sure. Alright, that was the show. Like I say, pretty damn decent show. A lot of good matches. Like I say, I ignored the Divas match entirely because it was ridiculous. And the Swagger versus Sin Cara match was not meant to be a match. It was meant to create a scenario that, you know, procreated the storyline. But okay, scores, fails, and MVPs. Score is, I think, from this Super Show initiative that Triple H is doing, it's going to be the first step in finally combining the rosters, which will be amazing if they also combine the championships, because if not, it'll just make no sense. Orton Ziggler, like I say, did nothing but good things for Ziggler, did not take anything away from Orton. I would not have been upset if Ziggler had actually won this match, except for the fact that Orton needed the momentum going into tomorrow night, going into the cage match with Christian. And how many times are we going to say Christian and Cage in the same sentence before somebody makes a TNA joke? I'm just saying. Everybody hates Cena, realistically speaking. Triple H and Nash aren't that impressed with him. Laurinaitis hates him. Punk hates him. Called out Alberto Del Rio, did not get Alberto Del Rio, instead got, for no reason at all, Mark Henry and Christian in his face. Nobody likes Cena, and I like that, because it's a reflection of most of the WWE universe that are over, I don't know, the age of 10. The Punk-Miz match was tremendous. The Punk-Miz match, I would have paid pay-per-view money to see. If we get to a larger pay-per-view, like SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, even I would go as far as to say Mania, although people will probably disagree. I would pay money to see that match on a pay-per-view. You've got two guys there that are the total package, that can character, that can make you love them or hate them depending on what they're doing at the time, that can cut a good promo, that can get in your face, that are convincing, that look like real guys, not roid-raging idiots, and can get it done in the ring. Quite simply, can actually wrestle, not just look like a bunch of drunk assholes in a bar fight, and can actually wrestle. Two guys like them at the caliber they are, that are the total package, one-on-one with no bullshit, until the end. Obviously, because it's just Monday Night Raw, there's going to be bullshit at the end. But for the majority of that match, pay-per-view quality, bar none. Like I said, is Punk slowly bringing Miz back up to where the prominence that he used to be at? Absolutely. Did Punk lose anything by making Miz look good in that match? Absolutely not. Tremendous match. I would say one of the best Raw matches this year. Not gonna lie. Alright, fails. All the superstars are going to be on both shows, but they're still going to be referred to as Raw and SmackDown Superstars, even though they're on both shows. The logic of that is a bit lacking. I'm not going to say I hate it, because I don't know where it's going just yet. This is the first night, and tomorrow will be the second. If that illogical train of thought continues, it's going to be a stronger fail in future videos. For sure, looking forward to that. I wrote this down when they announced the Punk-Nash match, and now it's the Punk-Triple H match, and it's still so true. Every match at Night of the idea behind Night of Champions is every match is supposed to be a title match. Having Punk versus anybody that's not a champion, yeah, we get to see Punk, which is tremendous, which will boost the buy rates right there, but you're going against what the idea of the pay-per-view is. It's like the non-Hell in the Cell matches at Hell in the Cell. It's like the non-chamber matches at the Elimination Chamber. It's like, it would be like having a standard rules match at Extreme Rules. It doesn't, as awesome as I'm sure it will be, and I'm sure it will be the first of many matches between them, because I don't think this is going to be a one and done, it doesn't fit the pay-per-view. And that, like I say, I'm looking forward to the match, but that little bit of illogic, it makes a difference. It's one of those little things that's going to gnaw away at the back of your head, but it makes a difference. Alright. Tag team champions, Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston, have a tag team name. They are Air Boom, for better or for worse, but they still come out separately, while their opponents look more similar, come out together, and don't have a tag team name. It doesn't work. The logic of that, they haven't progressed enough as a team to be already holding those titles, in my opinion. And in the process of trying to make them look good, they're burying a potentially very good team in Otunga and McGillicutty. I'm going to stick with that opinion until, they majorly fuck up somehow, because I think, King was on their ass all night tonight. They're not the most exciting tag team in the world because they're not jumping and high-flying and doing all kinds of crazy-ass spots, but they're solid in the ring, and I wish they could have, if they were going to pass the titles on to Air Boom, I wish they could have done it without totally burying McGillicutty and Otunga. That's my final thought on that. MVP for tonight has got to be Dolph Ziggler. The way he shined tonight against Randy Orton, who is one of the main guys in the company, and it did not look unrealistic. Like, if a nobody, like if a Santino Marella went in and shined over Randy Orton, it would be like, fuck that, that's totally unrealistic. If Hornswoggle beat the Great Khali, it would be totally unrealistic. Ziggler went in, did as good as he did tonight, and it looked realistic. It looked like he could have a convincing run for a world title tonight. And ultimately, that's what all of them should be striving to do, is it not? Okay, that's it for me. I'm going to try and do a review for Super SmackDown tomorrow night, but until then, I've been Spaz. Subscribe up there, talk down there, let me know what you think, toss your Q&A questions in the moderator, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Get up, come on.